Welcome to my trade review segment with Bill by Trading. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. Number one, I'm not going to tell you how much money I make. Why? Because it doesn't matter. I'm not here to sell false hope. I'm not here to provide FOMO. I'm not here to promote the lifestyle of retiring next week and buying Lamborghinis. That's not my purpose. I'm here to show you a process of what it takes to be a real trader, the planning, the execution, etc. So if you're expecting me to tell you how much money I made, don't worry about it. You can move on. Anyways, so I have three trades I'm going to go over: Hood, CrowdStrike, OKTA. All right. The first one, I entered Hood on this Friday here, the June 26th. Okay. Look at the big overall picture here. First, it was downtrending, and then basically from February until I would say mid-June, it did nothing. Consolidation, chopping around within a rather large range of, you could argue 93, I'd say more so like 90 to 70, with like 95 and 64 being extended ranges outside of that range. So what happened? Firstly, I was looking for this trade right here, tag of that high to set a higher low to create some compression out of this range, and then we break it. So really the level, I took a little trade here around 86 a few days ago and caught this and took profit at this resistance, or maybe I got stopped out before the breakout. It was something like that. But basically, I was looking at this $93 level. I missed this entire move, which I'm perfectly fine with, because next, what happens is when you miss a move like this, there's a pretty strong breakout. Then you look for a retest of the important level that whatever you're monitoring, right? So basically, I was watching this the entire time. I was looking for this 93 level breakout. Why? Number one, it's an important level to break out of. Number two, it created a higher high. Number three, I was looking for a higher low to form versus this low. So we have multiple confluences at this breakout retest level, and we have a confluence at the 21 EMA. And so I took my shot. If we go down to a 30-minute time frame, what I did is I was looking at the few days here, 1, 2, 3, 4 days down trend line. You can see it was respecting. Then on Friday, it popped out of that downtrend line. And then what I did is I set an anchor VWAP here, and I noticed that it was holding the daily VWAP. Also, the setup trade here, this daily bar, or sorry, not daily bar, but this day, 30-minute bars, it had a pivot on gap around $94 and then like 95.80. It was something like that. And so what happened is on Friday, this is an intraday trading technique, and that's how I use to give me stronger signals for potential holds, or at least entries that could potentially turn into a swing, which happened here. And so what happened is the price, it opened below that pivot, and then it started to move. It crossed that pivot and was holding it on the retests here. You can see these couple of bottoming tails, and it was holding again confluence with the anchor VWAP. And so as soon as it got over and started pushing away from the pivot, from the prior day pivot and the anchor VWAP, I entered. My entry here, I'll show you where I entered at. My entry was at 96.12. My stop loss was at 94.30. So the pivot on gap was 94.31, the low there. So it pushed higher. It ended somewhere around here. Probably 90, maybe it was 96 or so. And then I entered. And then all I did was manage the risk. So what I do, and what I was doing, is basically this blue box right here. This is the 3-day rolling pivot. So it's the average of the high and the low of 3 days with some other calculations. But basically, I just trail my stop along here, and it never tagged me out. And then on Friday, I took my profits because number one, this is my entry here. So I go based off of R's. So 96.1. So right here, risk per share, $1.82 is 1R. So whatever whether you risk 25, 50, 100, 200, 300, 400, 1,000, 5,000, whatever, is your 1R. And so I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 R here. 10, probably 11. I could have possibly gotten 12, maybe 12 and a half out of this one. We'll see. Maybe even 13. Yeah, if I top take it, it could have got 13R. But I'm coming out with 9. I'm not mad about it. 10, 11, 12, 13. Which is, this is why I like doing what I do. So before this, I took like 6 or 7 losses in a row because I was getting chopped up a little bit. But this one trade cleaned up those losses because my stop losses are rather tight, and my entries, they're typically clean. And when things work, when I'm right, I'm right, and I'm right big. And so this one trade licked up 6, 7 losses in a row, which is obviously nice. All right. So that's the trade for Hood there. Number 2, CrowdStrike. Let's look at the bigger picture here. Okay. Look at the weekly. This has been a very strong move like this. Very strong move here. Strong move. Many weeks up. Big red week. And then we get like 3 weeks of chop, right? Looking at the daily. I entered here by this little circle dot. We'll go here. We'll go over it shortly here. On the 18th. So what I liked about this, on this day, it was chopping around. It undercut these days and had a pretty strong bottoming tail off the tag of the 21 EMA, then off the tag of the anchor VWAP from the low of this day here. It closed above the 8. And so I entered in this day. What I was anticipating, honestly, was a follow through the next day, which you can see we got follow through, but it really failed. I just kept my stop loss here at the low of 165.22, the low of this day, and I never got tagged out. I did hold this for a little bit longer without moving than what I typically do. I was going to get out on Friday, the 26th, if it did not start to move. However, because I don't like to risk a lot over the weekend with gaps and gap downs and things like that. So we moved 3.5% basically on this Friday, and so I held it. So let's look at the 30-minute chart. What did that look like? So again, anchor VWAP from the low of this day, it undercut and held it. The 21 EMA tagged it and held, and so I entered. My entry was 1. So this was a split, right? This was a 4 split earlier in the week. So it was really 680 something, but relative, it was basically $170.95. My risk was this low right here, 165.22, $5.73 is 1R. And so it was basically a 3.35% stop loss, a little bit larger than what I would like. I certainly don't go over 4, so this is a higher range of stop loss that I have, but that's the setup. And so I held a little bit longer. You can see my stop was never taken out, and it was staying above the 8. It was staying above the 21. It was staying above the anchor VWAP. It was from this low above the anchor VWAP from earnings, just kind of chopping around. I was looking for a follow through, didn't get it, decided to hold it, and then eventually started moving for a 1, 2, 3, and I closed out here at like 194.70 something on Friday. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4R gain out of it or so. And again, I'm not mad about that. What I did now, I fully closed Hood. I closed half of my CrowdStrike, and then I have a stop loss again just below this blue 3-day pivot, and I'm letting it work. I'm kind of anticipating to get stopped out because this is a 5 EMA. It's well above the 5 EMA. I wouldn't be shocked if it came down and tagged and continued strong, but everything's up, right? So this name is still in play. Just for my core trading strategy, I hold for like 2 to 5 days, 1 to 5 days, and I look for these moves to catch. And I caught this one, which was great. Next, cybersecurity. So that was CrowdStrike, right? That was my theme for last week. And so again, I took on another name, OKTA, last week. How did I do? Well, firstly, look at the overall picture. Okay, I go review my weekly preparation video if you missed this. But basically, what I was saying is that huge move broke out, right? Broke out of this huge base, came back in, based a little bit. Sorry, this is being a little slow. Based here, and this was a very obvious area 124, 125-ish area. I was looking for a breakout of 124.50, really a breakout of Friday's highs, which is 124.86. We gapped up on Monday, and I missed. Ideally, you get in Friday, but I don't like to enter typically on trades. Real nice base here. Gap down, undercut to 21, reclaim, close like a red to green move, undercut these days, and continues to base. So this is a nice base setup. And then this obvious 124.50 area, we gapped up Monday. Let's look at the 30-minute chart. I set an anchor VWAP for that gap up again, because this is a trade I prepped for. And I missed the gap up, which is fine, but that doesn't mean you miss the entire trade. And so I've set an anchor VWAP here. It was above the 3-day pivot. It was leaving a pivot on gap, which is typically a sign that things could have a momentous move to the upside. It was holding the anchor VWAP, and as soon as I was watching it hold, and I entered. And that is not accurate. Oh, what the heck? Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Is it accurate? Yep, that's accurate. My bad. That's what I did. And so I entered near the end of the day, and the pivot on gap at that point in time was forming around here, or the daily pivot was forming at 129.49. And so I entered there, and I held it. I caught a nice 2-day move off of it. My stop loss was 91 cents, and that is basically a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I exited at around here, 141.50 or so. I think it was 141.57. So like a 12-hour gain relative to what I was risking, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, with a 0.7% stop loss. And it worked out. So I didn't do anything special here. All I did was I managed my risk. I made my plans ahead of time, and I executed based on the day's setup. And whatever, as long as you prepare ahead of time, you have a reason of why you're entering. You put in the time and the effort ahead of time, so you're not just randomly clicking buttons. All you have to do is, if the setup starts that day, is execute. And then you might be wrong, you might be right, but whatever happens once you're in. And then you just, whatever stop loss management, trailing stop loss, trim and trail that you have that work for you, you just execute that, right? So my targets on all of these were breakout here, retest of this high, that was hit. Same thing with CrowdStrike, breakout here, retest of that high. It was quick. I was thinking these could come quickly, and they did. So hood, same thing. Breakout here, retest of this local high. We have a nice little topping tail here. So I do think this is tradable still. I'm looking for like a 105 entry or so, somewhere around there. But I think this is ready to take some profit. But that's basically how I made these trades. Hopefully that stuff was helpful for you guys. Like, subscribe, go watch my FinX weekly video and also my weekly prep videos. I'll continue to put out my trade reviews as I have time. Again, I had 6 losses in a row, maybe even 7 before these 3 trades. And these 3 trades licked up all 7 of those and more. So I'm not just trying to push that, oh, look at me, I made 3 trades and I was right on all 3 of them. Didn't have time to do the other trades, and it's too far past. I lost 6 times in a row. 6 times in a row. But these 3 trades licked them all up and then some. And so this is what it is. It just is what it is. You can, depending on your style. All right. Before I ramble on, thanks for your time. Like, subscribe, share, go watch my other videos. I'll catch you next time.